Today I'm gonna talk a little bit about simple sentences. And simple sentences, what do we think of when we think simple sentences?
Short.
Yeah,
Short.
Easy to read.
Easy to read. Pardon? Explanatory, yeah.
Precise.
Precise. Simple sentences are kind of all of those, although they can get long. You can keep adding pieces, but everything in the sentence will be about one subject. So, the simplest simple sentence has a subject and a verb. Leslie cried. So, what else is Leslie? Noun. So we have one subject noun plus one verb. That is the simplest sentence. Every sentence you write has to have a subject and a verb. Or you've got some kind of a sentence fragment happening. And sentence fragments are bad. Sentence fragments in some courses will lose you 5 points per fragment. It doesn't take long before you're down in the zeros and past. Some college professors at Portland State, your second simple sentence and they will fail the paper. So it behooves you to remember to always insert a subject and a verb. So you're going, okay, fine, if I knew what they were, okay? So, what are nouns?
Person, place.
Person, place, and thing. So, draw a person. You don't have to be an artist. I am not. And label it person. Okay, my person's vampiric, but it's still a person.
Can't also an idea be a noun?
Yeah, but we're not going to deal with those because it's, we'll get there and you'll understand why. Again, some of the language we're simply not going to discuss because a whole lot of backgrounding and it makes it more than a 10-week course. So person, draw a place. Label a place. Okay, now draw a thing. Yes, my thing is a Christmas tree. I'm moving in advance of the season. Okay, if I was a better artist, I could have drawn the table, which is a thing. A pen is a thing, a hat is a thing. There's an awful lot of things in our language. Okay, now draw sit, S-I-T, sit. Okay, a few of you got it. You can draw a picture of a person doing it, but you can't draw it. It's a verb. Verbs cannot be drawn. Verbs are inside the body, or the place, or the thing that is performing the verb. I can draw Leslie sat down, but what can you see?
person and the thing.
You see the person and the thing. So nouns are buried inside the subject that is performing them. I did say verbs, didn't I?
Sit down.
Sorry, back up. Let's fix this. I'm videoing. Great. Verbs are inside the subject performing the action. So Leslie sat down. The ball bounced. Where's bounce? It's in the ball. That's a mountain. Bird. So the bird flew over the mountain. Which is my verb?
Flew.
Yeah, because it's buried inside the subject. The bird flew. Because the mountain, what's the mountain doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. Was over on the list of prepositions I gave you? Yeah, it was. Prepositions, positions. It tells you a relationship between two nouns. And I like to think, gee, golly gee, they tell me, position. So I've got a relationship here between two nouns. The noun with the verb inside of it is the subject verb. I thought I keep doing that. The noun with the verb inside of it is the subject noun. It's what the subject of the sentence is about. Any other noun in that sentence is an object. This matters when we get down the road and we get to pronouns. Because if you understand subject nouns, object nouns, you'll understand subject pronouns and object pronouns. Because it's just columns and you just drop in. Real language is just pull and poke, pull and poke, pull and poke. Take one from this column and put it here. Most of what you'll do in writing is really formulaic that way. So, subject, noun. So what would another simple sentence be? She fell off the chair. I got no artist genes. But I can, by drawing it this way, figure out what my subject is, what my verb is, because it's buried inside her. And what my preposition is, because again, it's describing a relationship between this and this. Her fell and this chair. And I know the subject noun has the verb inside of it, and the object noun denotes what? If it isn't a subject, it's an object. It's really easy to remember that way, it's clear. There's one subject, everything else is objects. There's one king, everyone else is not king. So it's just eliminating everything else and saying, oh, they're objects, or they're prepositions. Oops. Call me on it when I forget to stick my punctuation at the end, because all sentences have to end, right? Oops. Once more, Leslie Fucci's human. So try one. Someone give us a sentence we can draw. Keep it easy, you see my drawing skills.
Andy swam under the bridge.
Who?
Andy swam under the bridge.
Let's try it.
Off the bridge.
Get drawing.
Oh, yeah.
You have to draw it too. You can't just sit and laugh about me. Mine has inset tiles, the Tower Bridge. So, let's put in Andy. You know, Andy's going to look much like Leslie or she. There. So Andy swam under the bridge. What's Andy? Remind yourself to say subject now, because there are other kinds of subject things that we're not discussing, ever. Swam is?
Verb.
Under?
Preposition.
And the bridge. Okay, the last bit I'm going to give you before I let you run out the door screaming and pulling your hair about Leslie, who's swimming under the bridge, swimming with the fishes and Andy, is that when we marry the preposition and the object noun, we call it a prepositional phrase, which you'll see me use the shortening of PP. It means prepositional phrase, because I'm not going to continually write prepositional phrase on the board. It's simply too long. So it's a prepositional phrase when you've got a preposition and an object noun. We just call it a prepositional phrase, and it's just the two pieces shoved into one phrase unit. That's PP. I know. There's water under the bridge. And these are simple sentences. There really isn't anything tricky about them. It's just learning the code. Subject plus subject noun plus verb plus prepositional phrase equals what? Simple sentence. And if you can draw it, it's not a verb. Okay.